Tata Steel was not one company. There's no algorithm. There's nothing which is a template. We may all, we will see on LinkedIn multiple posts where people take any incident and try to make a story out of it. I know it's good for getting some likes and some comments, but I reiterate, there's no algorithm. At least there has been no algorithm for me. Maybe people do have algorithm and long-term plans. I reiterate, I have always, as a person, done every day good. संगीता, तू इतनी पढ़ी लिखी है, तू किसी को भी ले लेती है, सिर्फ उसका औकात देखो, पढ़ा नहीं लिखा होगा, उसको शायद opportunity नहीं मिला होगा. Maybe if he or she got the opportunity, let's see how they are performing, what their attitude is.
Of course, I want to ask you this question because at some point of time, maybe not today, it was a man's world. And you have thrived in a largely male-dominated industry. What were some of the challenges you faced? And, woman to woman, I'd like to know, how did you overcome those challenges and pushed yourself forward? Yeah, we're learning from leaders who've shaped the industry, built influence, and also really climbed up the ladder. So, if you're curious, ambitious, and really ready to level up your work, then you are in the right space. Our today's guest is a seasoned woman in business, someone who has more than 3 decades of experience, or like our theme goes, she's really thriving in corporate. Sangeeta is a strategic advisor to growing companies on the advisory board of private equity firms and an independent director. We know her from her previous stints where her role was Group CEO, Runwal Group. Prior to that, she was Managing Director and CEO, Mahindra Life Spaces. And before that, of course, all her love, Tata Steel, where she spent a large amount of her career. She leads her teams with all passion and heart, and which is why we're very excited to have her with us today. Thank you for making time for us today.
Thank you, Archana. I was really looking forward to meet you and have this conversation about success, achievement, what makes it work. For me, success is not about just the financial outcomes. It is also about the stakeholders who I serve and how I have been meaningful to them, what have happened in their lives. So the community, the customers, the colleagues, what kind of footprint have I left? Does it make me happy and content? That is what success is to me. And as regards steel and real estate, I'm so proud of the fact that I have contributed in 2 sectors which mean so much for the country's economy. Steel makes buildings and buildings use steel. So there is a connection. So many people have asked me, how did you pivot from steel to real estate? I said, I pivoted where things matter for the country.
Right.
And what should I tell a 21-year-old? I still feel like a 21-year-old at times. Have always curiosity, quest for learning, always look for solutions, look for strengths of people around you and in you. Because if you know yourself well and if you know the people around you well, you can all make the world a magical success.
So let's start, Sangeeta. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What was it like growing up? Were you really always this ambitious person, or it's something that came to you along the way? Tell us how you grew up.
Oh, now you're making me go back to my childhood years, wonderful childhood years. Calcutta is a lovely place to grow. Apart from studies, you do so much in extracurricular. I remember I used to do a lot of dumb charades, debate, just a minute, go into school fest, and education and this kind of harmoniously coexisted. I never even realized that I was actually, touchwood, doing well academically because it all came with the flow. So there was ambition as such to achieve something specific was not there, but ambition to do something good and feel good about it was always there. So, people measure life in different ways. I have always measured life in the present. Has this day been meaningful? Have I done something which has made me feel happy, my parents feel happy, or the people around me have smiled because I was around there? That's what I have always. And so, lovely childhood, joy, fun, studies, and love. If I may say, these were the things which made my world go round when I was a child. And I think they still remain the cardinal values which take me around today as well.
It really shows, as I'm sitting next to you today, you have made me smile today multiple times. So it really shows. I know that traditionally, when we're all growing up, our parents have laid a lot of emphasis on the education, right? In HR words, pedigree. Can you tell me a little bit about your education, and do you feel a degree from a certain school is still as relevant today as it was, when you were growing up?
Very, very good question. I have been fortunate that I have had a fairly good academic record. An engineer from JU, which is Jadavpur University, which is one of the better engineering schools in India, and then post graduation from IIM Lucknow. But my education did not stop there. All my life I've been learning, and I've been very, very fortunate that the companies I've worked, they have had a very good process of, apart from on the job learning, is formal education. So whether it is Harvard or is it INSEAD or it is Yale or IMD Lausanne, I'm grateful to both Tatas and Mahindras to have maybe seen some talent in me and sent me around the world to see that I keep myself always on the go as far as education and being contemporary. See, I just want to say, you spoke about success earlier. Success comes only when you are contemporary, adaptive, and you're wanting to learn. I know I'm repeating about this quest for learning. It is so true. Okay. Because sometimes what happens, we like to rest on the laurels of our past success. Complete no. Don't worry about your pedigree. The pedigree is as good as you are today. Okay. What you do today, how you conduct yourself today, what do you contribute matters a lot. So when I am recruiting, Archana, I'll be very frank, I do look at pedigree, but I do look at the person and I have been admonished by my seniors at times, Sangeeta, तू इतनी पढ़ी लिखी है, तू किसी को भी ले लेती है, सिर्फ उसका औकात देखो, पढ़ा नहीं लिखा होगा, उसको शायद opportunity नहीं मिला होगा. Maybe if he or she got the opportunity, let's see how they are performing, what their attitude is. Of course, background and education matters, Archana. That's raw material. But how you process that raw material and come to finished goods is what matters at the end of the day. That's my take on pedigree. Yeah.
Makes sense. And I think it also tells us that success is not just an outcome of your education, but your intent, your quest to learn, and how adaptive you are in today's world. For you, right? Let's start right at the beginning. Tell me about your early years. Tell me what led you to becoming the CXO and the advisor and the person you are today, right? Like, how did you start off and how did you become the successful woman over 3 decades?
You want me to reflect? Let me assure you in hushed tones, there's no algorithm. Okay. There's nothing which is a template. We may all, you will see on LinkedIn multiple posts where people take any incident and try to make a story out of it. I know it's good for getting some likes and some comments, but I reiterate, there's no algorithm. At least there has been no algorithm for me. Maybe people do have algorithm and long-term plans. I reiterate, I have always, as a person, done everyday good. At the end of the day, very importantly, I've reflected also what went wrong, what went well, and what could I have done better, and how tomorrow is another day where I can go out and do something meaningful. And it's not just about work. It's about friends, family, and society. How have I conducted myself? And I would like to bring home the fact that all of us are self-aware. We just don't want to acknowledge it. We only like to say we are good in this and we are good in that. We are not so good in something, which is fine. And another thing which I have over my years, been very open to people around me, my colleagues also, and shared my vulnerability. So I would always say to my colleagues that I'm impatient. If I'm getting impatient and you think I'm running too fast, you can always come and tell me, Sangeeta, we did not understand this. And it's okay, I will repeat it, because this I learned from my daughter. So I used to teach her maths when she was much younger. And one day she came and told me, Mommy, I don't like learning from you. I said, why? And I thought I'm a rock star in maths. Why the hell is she not interested in learning? Because she says, once you have told me what to do and you've taught me, and if second time your face changes, and third time you look at me as if I'm a fool, And that was such a very important lesson for me, because maybe I'm doing that at work also. So I thanked her profusely, and the next day on, I went and told my colleagues, if I look impatient and you have not understood, please ask me. It is not your fault, it's mine, because I am impatient and I think you have understood. Maybe I have not explained to you well. So it is this question of self-awareness. When you are, you may think you are good in maths, but if you're not able to convey that maths to the people around you, your team, then what is your goodness all about? After all, the work gets done when you all work together and all of us are on the same page. Yes, as a leader, I should try to be ahead of the curve so that I can guide, nurture, motivate. But the day I start demotivating because I seem to think I'm better than my colleagues, I'm actually not building a team. I'm building distance from the people who are my most important resources.
I now want to deep dive into your roles across manufacturing and real estate, right? So, can you tell me the journey that you've had from manufacturing to real estate, right? Codependent, but still very different. And also some of the nuances. What did a typical day look like? And would you advise staying in one industry for that long if you want to be a CXO someday? So you can break it down, but this is something that I want to understand.
So let me address your first question, which is about, how has been my journey. I always say Tata Steel was not one company. Yes, it was one company as far values go, as far brands go, as far people practices go. But as far work goes, they were totally different. So I started with commercial and imports, which is a buy function. Then I moved to sales. And then I moved to building a business. Then I became an executive in charge, which is a chief executive of a business. Then I headed a full region, which is a business region for sales, marketing, and product development. So it's been a journey which is actually you are getting the advantage of being in the same home, but you are going and spending your time in different rooms, and it's a large home. It's not a small home, and you are discovering different places and different facets of yourself. So what Tata Steel taught me was how good you are in handling different aspects of the business, how good you are handling different cultures. So I never worked in one geography. I've traveled around the country and been posted around the country. And let me tell you, if you ask me from a functional part, what have you learned? I've learned more when I have worked in Calcutta, Jamshedpur, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai. My God, every place has been a discovery because you get different people, the diversity of work, the diversity of people, the diversity of processes, the diversity of stakeholders has really held me in good stead. And the uncertainties thereof, because you're learning, you're constantly learning because you're not. So, you asked about were you in the same industry, same place. I was in the same industry, but I was doing different things. And that made me better equipped. So, in short, when you get something new, have anticipation, have curiosity, have a little bit of nervousness, because nervousness and anxiety is good, but just go there and see what can I do to learn and what can I do to seek help. I'm touching upon a leader seeking help. As a leader, when you seek help from your team feels very good about it because you're giving them respect for something which they know and you may not know. Because let me tell you, the formula is not about you knowing the most. The formula is how do you deliver the best with the team around you. It is not your idea, it is the idea which wins. So the moment you know that then your team starts thinking and delivering.
Got it. And the last part of the question is staying in one industry the answer to being a CEO someday? So I know you said there's no algorithm, but if I was just starting out today and I decide that I'm going to continue in my company for 16 years, just like you, does that mean that at the end of the 16th year I would be senior management?
Not necessarily. They have people, as I said, the algorithm part, and I gave you some of the, if I may say, the prerequisites, which are quest for learning, adaptability, curiosity, anticipation. You can be in the same company for 16 years and still vegetate. You can move around and still vegetate. So you can move around and shine, and you can. So what is important are the attributes. It is not about whether you are in the same. But I would advise people not to change jobs every now and then. That shows what? What does it show? That you are impatient. Sometimes it's good to be impatient, but you do not get the runway to contribute. So you give to your employer a perception that you're only thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about, and even if you're thinking about yourself, you're not thinking about yourself because you're being foolish, because you're not contributing. Because a person who has had say a 10-year career has changed jobs 8 times. What do you think that fellow is contributing?
Yeah.
He or she is not contributing. He or she is selfishly try, or maybe the person has not discovered himself or herself, doesn't know what he or she is good at.
Got it.
You need a little bit of stability. It need not be 16 years. It could be 3 years, 4 years. So this is my algorithm for how you get something which is meaningful for yourself.
Of course, I want to ask you this question because it's been on my mind for a while, and at some point of time, maybe not today, it was a man's world. And you have thrived in a largely male-dominated industry. What were some of the challenges you faced? And, woman to woman, I'd like to know, how did you overcome those challenges and pushed yourself forward?
It is a man's world. Well, what happens usually is I have always been around men all my life. Even at home, I had an elder brother who was always trying to take the best things out of me, and my mother showering all the attention on him and not on me. So that's been always a competitor. The only person who had my back was my father, always kind of sticking around and seeing that I get the best deal. So, it is about, I think a man-woman harmony is what the society ideally looks for, and it sometimes doesn't happen. Yes, I've had hilarious time when I've been working with men around me. And you know what? It's not always being combative. It is also being humorous. So I'll give you an example. One of the things I've always been proud of, and that's why I always talk about Tata Steel with so much fondness, the mentors I had. I never touched upon it. The Tata Steel mentors I'm extremely grateful to. And they were the top management of Tata Steel. I think in some form they knew this young girl is trying to make her way through, surrounded by all these men. They in their own way looked out for me. They did not look out for everyone. If they saw potential, they looked out. And for that also sometimes we lose our way. I may have potential, but no one to look out for me. And I'm so grateful. I'll name some of them. They are all Padma Bhushan, big Dr. Jamshed Irani. He's no more. He kept in touch with me till he passed away. And believe me, he was the gentleman who gave me a position when he was the chairman of the board of governors of IIM Lucknow. I joined the board of governors of IIM Lucknow, very prestigious. I would have never expected it, thanks to Dr. Irani. And that too when I was not in Tata. See these people's largesse and graciousness. So in life, one of the things in your career, you need to have good mentors. So I'll give you an example. I remember when I went for my induction in Tata Steel. And I'm talking about 92. So you can imagine. I was the only girl around who was going around, especially because I was in line function. And I will delve upon line function and service functions a little more later. So I went to the mines. After all, koila, iron, यही सबसे steel बनती है. So when I went there, the collieries are underground, the mines are underground, and you go by these lifts which are quite, they look quite dicey.
Yes.
So I went for the induction. So this very nice gentleman, very fatherly gentleman told me, he was heading that mine, Sangeeta, तुम मत जाओ, तुम बाहर रहो, कोई ऐसे जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, तुम्हें डर लगेगा. So I could have been rude with him. How dare you tell me, use my feminist approach. Then I thought back and said, maybe my father would have said the same thing to me. That doesn't mean he doesn't want me to proceed in my career. Because that's the era, that's where it was. So I said, sir, sir, आप एक काम करोगे? This is in Jharkhand, okay? आप मेरे साथ चलो ना. हमको जाने की बहुत इच्छा है, मैं डरती नहीं हूँ, आप चलोगे तो मेरा साहस और बढ़ जाएगा. So what I did, I ensured he comes because he was delegating the work to someone. And he comes as the head of that mines and goes down with me. And I also achieve my objective of going down, asking the right questions. Who better to ask than the head of the division? So that was a situation. So, how you tackle? There have been situations, of course, Archana, where the men have not behaved the way this man has behaved. So then you have to. I always gave it back then and there, without fear or favor. Okay. No consequence. What happens with sometimes with girls is that they worry, and it's right, and I'm not judging. If I behave in a certain way, will my job be there?
Yeah.
Will I get my promotion? Personally, I have never worried about that. So I'll give you another light-hearted example. I was posted to do sales in steel in Delhi in 95. Lovely place to be in. And so my boss was a true blue, risen from ranks from Delhi.
Okay.
So he didn't know how to handle me. All men around him. So I just got married. By the way, got married, new city, new division, and with a lovely boss like him. He taught me a lot. Lovely, these experiences teach you a lot. So I went there, and so he started asking me after a few months. There was no posh then, okay? So he started asking me, "तू इतनी ambitious है, माँ कब बनेगी?" You understand? So I skirted it. Then my big boss from Calcutta went. So he called me. Sangeeta, how are you doing? He was a very sensible guy. He understood that this man may have the probability of treating Sangeeta differently.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how to handle. Sincerely, he doesn't know. So he asked me, how are you doing? I said, sir, I'm fine, except the fact that I have two mothers-in-law. What do you mean? So I said, one at home and the other in office. So, and my mother-in-law in office is more curious than my mother-in-law at home, wanting to know what am I going to do in my family life. I never mentioned a name, but it was enough. And I told it in front of him. And my Calcutta super boss looked at him and said, I think you just don't bother about what's happening in your family. Of course, I got a rapping after, but I had the courage. So one of the things which I did not speak about is about courage. Courage, when you show courage, you have to face the consequences. So I knew he will treat me very badly after that meeting, but I told him, I have warned you many times that don't ask about my family and my whatever, being a mother, but you never stopped.
Yeah.
So that was my only gracious way to get back at you. But sir, there's no other platform where I can do something. And believe me, after that, he never dared. Now what happens, that showing courage and how to show it and when to show it sometimes is crucial. Maybe I was fortunate that the person who came from Calcutta was an evolved soul. The other person could have been also a bad man. And he would have maybe told me something and said, go on asking her these questions, trouble her, we'll screw her up, sorry, we will mess with her happiness. So I have always followed this path.
You are right. इसी को बोलते हैं जुगाड़, which women excel at. I think we're born with it. So, not entirely relevant, but I also have a daughter. She just turned 1. And this podcast on this platform is actually going to be my gift to her at some point to show her that, hey, look, Mama also did something. And I think women were just born to excel, and I think there is no better multitasker. So very well put, actually. Thank you for that. So every girl listening to this, if there's anything you could take away, it would make me and Sangeeta very happy and very proud if this teaches you how to deal with that boss at work, or someone who's been asking you something that you don't necessarily want to deal with. This is, dignity is the right answer to the question. With courage, of course. Thank you. Now coming to what at some point in time, fortunately or unfortunately, really matters, right? Money, pesa. I do want to touch upon financial numbers, success. So if you could just break it down for someone watching this interview of what they can expect through this career in terms of compensation, incentive, bonus, equity, to whatever you feel comfortable with sharing, what can they really expect in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Because while, we know that there is, businessmen have their own fair share, but there's a very different and parallel world that you and I are a part of, where we have also been able to achieve our financial goals. So I would
Right.
like to touch upon that.
So, again, different companies have different structures. So, conventional companies, some of the companies I have worked for are conventional companies. So, they work as you are, when you join, most of your pay is fixed pay.
Yeah.
Then, as you go up the ladder, the contribution of variable pay comes in.
Got it.
Then, the second layer on top of variable pay is your incentive, especially when you are in operating functions like sales. So I'm not talking about myself, I'm just laying out the structure of how company. So over the years, companies also evolve. Then you have incentives. The fourth which comes is when at senior level, like I have had this opportunity, that people usually want to give long-term incentive plans.
Okay.
So what are those are called in today's HR language LTIPs. I also learned it first. I thought, what is LTIP? LTIP is you are in a senior position. You are very important for your company's growth strategy. So companies say that if you stay for 5 years, at the end of the 5th year, I will give you so many lakhs or so many crores or whatever the case may be. So LTIPs are fixed. Now you can see a variable pay is based on performance and potential, which grows over the years based on increment and all that. But the LTIP is a way of, it's a retention bonus, if I may say, but they are not for a short period. Retention bonus, when you acquire a person, you usually tell them, if तुम 1 साल रहोगी तो तुमको फिर हम लोग 10 लाख देंगे 1 साल के बाद. But LTIPs are a little back-ended, but they are substantial and they are fixed. On top of that, currently companies are also giving ESOPs. So this is the structure. Now, depending on the company where you are going to, so if it is a very mature company like a Tata Steel, ESOPs may be, but now, lately Mahindras are looking at ESOPs for its senior management. Like we used to get ESOPs in Mahindra because we were the top management, but now Mahindra is trying to democratize it and give it to the next level of performers. So, the word which is operating is how are you contributing? So, it's a treadmill in a form that every day, every time you have to contribute, and you have to be putting in effort and contributing. As you do that, because the trajectory of different, while I laid out the structure, the trajectory of different people will be different.
But overall, thank you so much for everything that you've shared. And before we conclude, I really want to play something called as rapid fire, where I will give you a fill in the blank, or you have to give me one or one-liner responses, okay? This is not a controversial version, but this is a more simplistic
I can make
version.
it controversial if you want.
Off camera. All right. A leadership value I lean on the most is?
Trust.
A turning point in my career came when?
When my daughter was born.
What really fuels me to do more?
My inner energy.
I believe the biggest opportunity in the real estate industry right now is?
Growth.
In the steel industry?
Building India.
Nice. Good one. The trait I'm most proud to have developed is?
Laughing mindlessly.
When things get hardest, I rely on?
Sleep.
Likewise. My idea of balancing between professional success and personal fulfillment is?
Harmony.
A small different version of this. If you were 25 again, okay? If you were 25 again, give me one piece of advice to a co-25-year-old on work.
Be a little more patient.
Got it. Money.
Learn it better.
And the last one, life.
Happiness.
Yeah, that's so fulfilling and such a good answer. What does 9 to thrive mean to Sangeeta?
Again, for me, 9 to thrive is about harmony, being happy with yourself, nothing else. I believe in that. As I've grown, I've realized success without being happy doesn't mean anything.
Got it. Thank you so much, Sangeeta, and thank you everyone for listening in. This has been a very fulfilling conversation, and I would like to believe that we've communicated and decoded what success has looked like, not just for you, but the industry that you have grown in. You have spoken about almost all aspects of your career, including how you started and how you're still going today. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, Archana.
Thank you.
I see you thriving, 9 to thrive as well.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me on 9 to Thrive today. This is a platform where you'll hear corporate success stories, growth strategies, and how you can go ahead and plan your next move. So if you are planning your next job, your promotion, or really what to do next in your career, do listen to us. And if we've made an impact on you today, there are 3 words I'm going to say right now that I never thought I'll say again. Like, share, subscribe. So please do share this with a friend. Keep following for more, and I hope I'm able to help you plan your next job. Thank you.